Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Not Near Mint Live, and you are watching us live. Unless you're on the replay, we do have Miracleman joining us, and there he is. He's going to grab a book. But meanwhile, tonight we're going to be talking about a very serious subject while still being unserious throughout most of this episode, because let's face it, we're not the most mature people here. So this is not for mature audiences. But yes, warning, viewer discretion is advised. But more than anything else, we are just so pleased to tell you all what day it is today. And what day is it? That's right, folks. It's Friday, you bastards.
The internet brings comic fans around the world into one comic book community. Comic creators and comic fans, tonight you are seen, heard, recognized, because comics are for everyone. Live from Miami, Florida, broadcasting around the world, this is the Not Near Mint Show.
Well, welcome to the show, everybody. It's the end of the week. It's the 26th of September, and it's the fourth week of September. So next week, we're going to be entering into Halloween time, where we're going to be doing all these episodes talking about horror titles and whatnot. But tonight, since it's right before Halloween, well, what brought about the start of censorship in comics? It was the Comics Code. And how did that initially start? Seduction of the innocent. When you had Frederick Wertham, before he even wrote that 1970 or 1954 book that Miracleman has right here, which is Seduction of the Innocent, 1954, he was writing articles that got the attention of Congress. And what wound up happening, Congress started having hearings where they started pulling people in that were writers, artists, and going, we noticed that we saw Batman in the same couch where Robin's head was on his lap. Is Batman gay? Are you trying to make our children gay in America by use of comic books? This actually happened. This is why in 1955, you saw the death of EC Comics with all those pre-code horror books. When you hear pre-code, that's anything before Seduction of the Innocent and those trials in Congress. So real quick, we're just going to say hi to the people that are watching currently. As always, if this is your first time, drop us a hi in the chat, and we'll make you a mod if you're a good folk. If you're a troll, you get the boot. But if you're returning, hey, welcome back. If you're a replay viewer, you're listening to this on the replay, we're glad to have you listening. We show books every week. We do a top 10. It's the bottom 5 and the top 5. And then we show some of our issues that we picked up over the course of the week. And then we talk a little bit about whatever the subject might be at hand. And you might have noticed this week, somebody was pulled off the air, Jimmy Kimmel, because he said something that 47, the president, didn't like. And when that wound up happening, well, he had to go. Then ABC started getting a lot of viewers responding to this. And as a result, people started canceling their Disney Plus subscription to the tune of about $4 billion by Sunday. I think it went up to towards $6 billion right before they finally brought him back. And the fallout that we're not even considering right now is that Disney lost billions of dollars. There's going to be cutbacks. We don't know how this is going to be affected in the near future, but it could affect Marvel books. It could affect movies and TV series coming forward very shortly. And we just really have no idea how this might play out in due time. But people are being pulled off the air, and some people are brought back. If you're a black journalist, apparently they don't want to talk about them. But hey, Jimmy Kimmel's back, right? I mean, and that's how easily it can happen. Because I'm just a nobody. Jimmy Kimmel's a somebody But as you see, it can hit anybody at any time. And I think it's about time that we just get right on into our top 10. And I'd like to thank Gabriel Jimenez that's here tonight. He's been considering that book, but never read it. Is it worth reading? I mean, if you really want to get angry and learn a little bit about comics during a very dark period of time, which isn't to say that 2025 isn't a dark period, but things are happening at a very, very fast pace. Miracleman says is genuinely nonsense pseudoscience, but he recommends it from a historical perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely don't go into this book going, I'm going to understand the psychological trauma and effects that comics. No, it's nonsense. It's nonsense. It's nonsense peddled by a snake oil salesman. But it's the same arguments they made about video games today. It's the same arguments they made about rap music in the '90s. It's the same arguments they made about television. It's all nonsense. It's a quick fix for society's ills, of which we all know there is no such thing.
It's kind of like walking into a hospital after having a heart attack and you're dying, and the doctor comes up to you and goes, you should start eating better, and then starts listing off a series of grocery list items that you should be eating while not attending to the direct problem at hand at that moment. They'd rather patch something up with a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. But being that this is America 2025, that seems like an apt description.
It does.
But we're going to jump into the top 10. This is the 4th week of September. Next week starts October. So there might be some different books that's a little bit more horror oriented. But again, these are based off of my 29,267 comics. I am a hoarder. Don't be like me. This might look good, but if you ever have to move, that's going to be a problem. So based off of 29,000 comics behind me, I run it through CLZ. As long as you have a paid subscription to CovrPrice, you can hit the value update button and it'll spit out a list. And that list will be compiled of at least one sale during the course of that last week or the last time that you've updated it last. Some people hit that update button every couple minutes, sometimes every few hours, sometimes every couple days. I do it on Thursday nights. That's how I come up with the graphic for the show and the top 10 lists. So these are the bottom 5 books that dropped the most amount of money this week. And some of them don't make a lot of sense to me. And you're about to find out how and why. So starting off with number 10, let's get the camera lined up a little better. There we go. We got ourselves Silver Surfer number 3. This is the first appearance of Mephisto, first cover appearance of Shala Ball. There she is right there. So this thing came out in 1968. And I mean, there was an Ironheart TV series where the lead actress girl bossed her way through that show, very much changed the script from its original intention. And the character that played Mephisto, you know him as Borat, but he did a really good job in the role. Unfortunately, they had to cut a lot of his role, so much to the point that it was only a few scenes. And now, unfortunately, they might wind up using some of those scenes in later movies, but being that Ironheart failed as hard as it did, that even Disney Plus doesn't want to talk about it, we might not be seeing Mephisto in further MCU projects. So as a result, this 1968 book in a very fine minus, raw, $218 somebody paid this week. It dropped more than half its value. It dropped $317. Somebody got this for $218. They got themselves a hell of a deal. No pun intended. That's number 10. Here's number 9. We have ourselves X-Men number 94. It's not uncanny because they don't call it uncanny until much later on. But if you ever wondered where the all new, all different comes from, well, at least now you know. But what doesn't make sense about this particular one is that our number 1 book is, I'm just going to say it. This thing's on the top 10 list every few weeks. It's either number 1, number 10, number 1, number 10, number 9, number 2. It's so unstable. It's Giant Size X-Men number 1. That's going to be the number 1 book. So you already know I spoiled it for you. Sorry, not sorry. But this second appearance of the new X-Men, some people preferred having this over the GSX-1 for a long time during the 80s. But this week, where Chris Claremont, why can't I say his name correctly? Chris Claremont begins his run on X-Men. And boy, this thing dropped. Not a lot, but it was down $54. $330 somebody paid for this 1975 book in a fine plus condition. Uh, I mean, it's up, it's down. A few years ago, it was about a $500, $600, $800 book. Now it's back down again. So if you're looking for it, you could probably get yourself a deal. It's not like these are underprinted. That's number 9. Here's number 8. Fantastic Four number 40. Fantastic Four number 50. It's the first appearance of Wingfoot, debut of the Ultimate Nullifier. It's this little teeny tiny gun that is kind of like having all the nuclear arsenal in the world aimed at each other. It's mutually assured destruction. If the user pulls it, everybody dies, including the user. So it freaked out Galactus enough where he goes, hey, I'm good. I'm out of here. That's how they ended that, unlike the movie where it was female Silver Surfer that drop kicked Galactus into a separate universe. Well, after the movie came out, it's now out on digital release. People aren't looking for these early Silver Surfers as much as before. So this book is down. 1966 book in a very good plus condition, 4.5 raw, $118. Yes, you can get the third appearance overall of Silver Surfer and Galactus for just a little over $100. It is down $46. There are plenty out there. And with a brown cover, this isn't one of the favorite copies of Silver Surfer on a cover. The one that you really want to look out for is that Tales to Astonish. I believe it's issue 92. Fantastic cover. This one, it's the best looking brown cover of the Fantastic Four triple appearance. All right, here we go. Number 7. This is Superman number 240. There's nothing key about this other than something that you don't notice a lot of in comic books. Due to editorial decisions, they don't like showing the hero being totally beaten down. You even had J. Scott Campbell do a cover for Detective Comics. I believe it was his first, where it had Joker on the cover, and he was originally going to be standing over a defeated Batman. But the editor went, nope. You got to change that just to a pile of bodies. We don't care. We just can't have Batman looking like he's defeated. So that's just a little bit of censorship that artists get every now and then. But here we have Superman fails. You don't really see that much in today's market, but today's covers look very different from the ones in the past. In the past, it was definitely to sell books, so they'd throw a lot of detail on there. Today, it's more about putting covers on a phone so people will buy it digitally. It's a very different market today, folks. So this in a fine, very fine 7.0 raw came out in 1971, $11. Somebody paid for this. It is down 26. And why is this down? The Superman movie, it is out. It is out on digital release. And once a movie is no longer about to be released, upcoming, it's out, it starts going back down again. Why? Well, there's always the next project and the next and the next and the next. And yes, James Gunn did announce there's going to be a Man of Steel movie. They're not calling it Superman 2. This is going to be a recreation because Peacemaker, if you're watching that series right now, they just showed you Earth X, a very different dimension of DC Comics. And this is when Schittler, and we don't mean the orange guy that's there now, won the war. And because of that, America, rather than having the stars and stripes, is the stripes and the Nazi symbol. And here we have Earth X's first appearance in Justice League of America, that Miracleman showing. Oh, are you muted?
I am. Yeah, see, this is the issue and vehicle in which they brought the Quality Comics characters that they had purchased. This group of heroes here were all published by Quality Comics. And DC Comics had purchased their stable of characters, and how they added them into their roster of characters, into their multiverse, was they created Earth X, where these freedom fighters fought the Nazis who won on their Earth. They even make reference to other Quality characters that were purchased, but they had not yet decided to add into their pantheon. I believe right here we go. Plastic Man, the Black Hawks, and Earth X is an Earth that now the history changed. Originally, these characters were from Earth X, and then they changed it so they were from Earth 2, and they went to Earth X, and the various stories over the years. But essentially, this group of costumed heroes here ended up fighting the Nazis for decades longer than they had to on the main comic book universe. Back to you, Rob.
And right now, if you're watching Peacemaker, it's not like I recommend people to go out there and buy a comic, but it might not be a bad idea to get it sooner than later. There's the first time that the crime syndicate appears, and it looks like in the next episode, we might be having Ultraman. And I don't mean the bullshit clone version that we saw in the movie. I'm going to say it's going to be the real Ultraman, the one with the U on his chest, and he's a fascist Nazi Superman.
Perhaps he might be Overman, though.
Overman, is that it?
Yes. So Ultraman is indeed an evil version of Superman. He was probably the first evil version of Superman, at least certainly the first one with any longevity. Originally appearing, I want to say, Justice League of America number 29, Crisis on Earth 3. One of my favorite Justice League books of all time. Crime Syndicate, one of my favorite criminally underused a set of characters, at least up until the Crisis on Infinite Earths. And he was originally Ultraman there. Now, in the Earth X version of Superman has typically been referred to either as Overman or Ubermenschen, giving it a little more German flavor. And he's not necessarily evil the way Ultraman is just evil. Yes, Nazis are evil. Don't get me wrong. 100% always punch the Nazi. But in Earth X lore, Superman, baby Kal-El, landed in Germany, not in America. So from his perspective, he's actually still a hero. It just turns out he's doing some villainous shit.
As I've always said, the best villains are the ones who don't think that they're villains. They believe they're the hero.
So,
but the thing now is, with Superman being out on home release, all of these old comics, even the newer ones with Superman, it held a premium where right after the Superman movie came out, this thing here was going for at one point $30-$40. I reported on it a few weeks just before the Superman movie came out, and after the movie came out, people were still paying $40-$50. But this week, $11, down 26 for a very fine copy of this Superman book by Neil Adams. There's nothing key about it, but people were paying that premium because of a movie. Now, just the opposite of that, the number 6 book, Power Man number 48, is the first team up of Luke Cage, Power Man, and Iron Fist. So if you're looking to try and complete a run of Luke Cage, or hell, even Iron Fist, because really today nobody cares about Iron Fist. One of the last things that we reported was the downing of Marvel Premiere 15, where people are paying right around $100 for it. Lordy. But this Power Man 48 is the first time they team up. Issue 49, they're a team. Issue 50, they changed the title name to Power Man and Iron Fist. But what happened with this book is that, neither of them have a ongoing series. Yes, you have Iron Man, that's now the Undead Iron Man that just came out, but that's only moving a couple copies. It might explain this book this week, where this 1977 book in very fine minus 7.5 raw, somebody got this for $23. It dropped by 22. 2025 is a great year if you're trying to finish some of these runs of characters that just aren't appearing in films or don't have an impending film or TV series coming out. So those are the ones that went down. Now we're going to talk about the ones that went up. We're almost 20 minutes in, and I still have half the list to go. So the number 5 book here is The Max number 35, low print final issue. If you want to really challenge yourself, see if you can find the newsstand copy, because at this point in 1998, it's between 5 and 10% of the run. It's very low print compared to an already low print issue. When a series goes for a long period of time, you're going to notice that the final issue and the final issues around it are going to go for usually more than the first issue, because there's a lot less of them than the massive amount printed for those first issues. So this book here came out in 1998, very fine minus. Somebody paid $115. It is up $34. Getting to finish off that max run is a little bit more difficult this year. The number 4 book is another weird one because not a lot of people are aware of the fact that this is the first cover appearance of Doctor Strange. So Doctor Strange first appeared in Strange Tales number 110. He's just one of the backup characters. And I mean, until Doctor Strange was in a movie starring Benedict Cumberbatch, the guy that plays him from Sherlock, that guy. You can say his name better than I can. I know it's Benedict Cumberbatch. Nevertheless, he was like the black sheep of Marvel. Nobody cared about Doctor Strange nearly as much as the rest of the other Marvel characters, but a movie changed that. And you still have a lot of older women that are just still really into that Benedict Cumberbatch guy. And who knows, maybe some of these people are comic fans too. But if you wanted to get that first appearance on a cover of Doctor Strange, this is the issue. Came out in 1964 in a very good fine condition 5.0 raw. Somebody paid $128. It is up $52. But again, this had a pretty good print run even for 1964. But if you want that mid-grade, you usually have to pay a little bit higher. But this still seems very undervalued by comparison. Now, showed this book last week for Batman Day, which I didn't get anything for Batman Day. Apparently my shop wasn't participating. But if you're able to get that Red Hood Batman primer, the preview, that thing's going for about $20, $30 online. That could have been free. I am not going to pay for that.
I got one.
You got it?
Yeah, I might be able to get you one yet if you want it. Oh, hold on. Where is it?
Yes, please. If you can. If not, don't worry about it.
Yeah, but I might be able to get you.
I mean, the dumbest mistake I made this week on New Comic Day is Wonder Woman 25, first matriarch. I got the A cover. I got the B cover. I got the C cover. I did not get the D cover.
Which one's the D?
That's the Daniel Sampier with matriarch's first cover appearance. It's a full black cover, which means it's hard to keep those fingerprints off of it. And it's already going for $30 online. And what did I do? I realized that I didn't order it. So the morning that it came out, I just paid the $30 and said, fuck it.
Well, there you go. I don't know, man. I didn't even read this yet. I just grabbed one.
I mean, all it is just a preview of both books. So
yeah.
It's just because the one is canceled that people want it. And again,
right.
Even this that has been on the top 10 list the last week and the week before, you can get these for less than they were. I mean, this one got up to about $40 for a period. That one's still about $20, $25, but just give it some time. Both of them will go back down because yes, they're controversial. Yes, they were censored. Well, censored in so much we're not going to see an issue 2 and 3, but when it comes to controversy, people forget. People have a very short attention span because of our cell phones.
Yeah. Sure enough, do.
Number 3 book is the first appearance of Batgirl Barbara Gordon, first Silver Age appearance of the Killer Moth. This thing came out in 1967 and $400. It is up $65.
Fucking Doug.
And this is my Doug copy where Doug, I don't know who you are. I hope you're rotten in hell. But he wrote his name on the cover of the book. I still bought it. I still got it for less than what it's going for now. And I got it during the pandemic. So I still think this is pretty okay to try and pick up if you can get it for less than what it's going for now. But yeah, $400, up $65. And that's even for a very good minus too. I mean, higher than that, you're going to be paying a lot more. And they printed a shit ton of these because Yvonne Craig in the Batman 66 TV show, and they had to beat the TV show to the punch because they didn't want the TV show having control over the character. So that's number 3. Here's number 2. Iron Man number 1 is the first ongoing Iron Man titled series. It's also where, now they call her Whitney Frost. She appeared in some of the Tales to Astonish books. But it's this issue that you find out that she's Big M. And who the fuck is Big M? Well, Big M is a criminal overlord mastermind, and she'll later go by the name Madame Mask. But that doesn't happen until like issue 27 or so. I have to relook that up. Well, this one came out in 1968 in a very good condition, 4.0 raw. Somebody got it for $481. It is up $80, which is still pretty good. I mean, people were paying about $600-800 for really low grade in 2021, and those 21 prices are not coming back. They're not. They're just not. But just keep in mind what those prices were, because they will inch back up there over time if you're looking at comics as an investment. Me, I look at it as the long game because I'm 47 years old. I know when I go to collect Social Security, it's not going to be there because, various reasons. That guy. So, or, all of Congress going, hey, we want to give ourselves a raise. Let's just get rid of that Social Security for those pesky little people, voters. Voters, what a joke. We're going to take that away. So this book here came out in 1968. Yeah, $481, up 80. It's our number 2 book. What's number 1? Oh yeah, I already told you. Giant Size X-Men number 1 is the first appearance of the new X-Men, which includes the first Storm, first Thunderbird, Colossus, Nightcrawler, and the 4th overall appearance of Wolverine. I say 4th because Incredible Hulk 180, 181, 182. I don't care if you call any of them a cameo. They're all appearances, so this would make it the 4th overall. So this thing is very unstable. Towards the beginning of this year, you were able to get this book for under $1,000 in very good fine 5.0 raw condition. But every other week, because I do skip some weeks, because otherwise this might be on the number 1 book or the number 10 book every week. And I would stop doing the list if they were just the same books every single week. But this thing here was substantial enough that I felt that I needed to put it on the number 1 because it went up $141, making it $1,799. And Comic Tom just reported in a video that he released earlier today that somebody paid a lot more money than they ever should have for this book, where they are going to definitely regret it. But as I always say, this top 10 list that I put together is to help determine for collectors and readers whether they should look for the book online or at their local comic shop and buy it. Or maybe that top 10 list, that Eye of Sauron is looking directly at it, like that Red Hood one. Everyone's trying to find it, and it's fallen off. Eventually, everything falls off to the point that you can usually get it for less if you wait about 6 weeks. If it's still up after 6 weeks, wait 6 months. After 6 months, if that thing is still up, you might as well just buy it because it's not likely to come down anytime soon. And that's the top 10 for the 4th week of September. And now we're just going to show some comics because that's what we do. We pick up books every single week. Sometimes I get one, sometimes I get nothing because I was trying to save for this big book. I don't know if that's going to happen because I have a certain tax agency breathing down my neck. And yeah, saving money in this 2025 economy is not easy. But I did get a few things. But first, I want to see what Miracleman got. You got some books there?
Yeah, I got some books.
Yeah.
I got some. Yeah. First of all, I got this from Discordia. I don't know if I'd shown it yet, but check it out. It's the latest Cherry Universe book. It's Ellie's Star Wash. It's LED, one of her best friends. I just got that. Came in the mail the other week. I can't remember if I showed it. And I have like multiple stacks here. I can't remember if what I showed, what I didn't show. So forgive me if I re-show some stuff. I don't think I did show this, but I picked up an incredible chunk of the Thunderbolts run that I was missing. Check this out. Watch this. Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts really starts off as a very Thunderbolts unique kind of book. Thunderbolts. This is the Warren Ellis, I think, when he starts over. Thunderbolts. And Diodato there. And it changes over time, Thunderbolts. It gets kind of weird in the middle. It does like this weird MMA hot chick cover Thunderbolts thing. And then it comes back, Thunderbolts. And it's basically like Thunderbolts. Suicide Squad for the Marvel Universe. Thunderbolts.
New Avengers.
Thunderbolts.
New Avengers.
And I took out this huge, look at it, I'm still going. Look at all this Thunderbolts I got. Most of these books were like $1 or $2. And I got them. Look at that one. Isn't that a cool ass cover? Look at playing with my
Don't
man,
show fear. Don't show fear. You'll burn.
right? Look at just so much. I got the Fear Itself issues here, right? You get Penance ends up in it. Here's the tough. Here's actually the tough one. Final issue, 174. Really tough issue to find, but a huge pile of the Thunderbolts. Um, excuse me. And then I got. Oh, you know what? Been trying to finish that volume 2 of Catwoman with the Jim Ballant art. I'm trying to finish that just forever. It's really not easy to come by. I don't know why it's so hard, but I also got some more Static. I'm now almost complete on my Static run. Look at that late issue for $5. Look at that.
My shop wound up having the censored copy of the one of the two lesbians
Yeah.
on the cover with the die
Yeah.
cut heart. I had
That's
no
probably-
idea what he was going to charge for it, but I have 0 copies of that run of Static. So I went, yeah, I'm not going to touch that. He's going to charge me like $60.
Oh man, you shouldn't pay that much. And then I got a nice chunk of Avatar's Lady Death. Look at that. A whole bunch of random, some great Juan Jose Rip covers, some Guzman, really great. Love me some Lady Death. Brian Polito's original love right there. And then, what's a series? Oh, look what I got. I got some more Thunderbolts. What's a series that I've been saying to you, a character that I've been saying for a while, people need to get on top of collecting? Remember? Lobo. Now I finished the original
You got me to do it.
I finished that original Lobo run a little while ago, but there is some early from between 2000 and 2010 Lobo stuff real tough to find. This finished off my Lobo Unbound. It was a 6-issue miniseries. This is from 2004. First of all, DC Comics print numbers cratered in the early aughts, right?
They were like 6,000, 4,000. I mean, earlier today, we had Michael show us a Metal Men that he got, and it was from, I think, 2011. There were 4,000 of them damn things printed. Yeah. And they were recalled because the print quality was such shit that you couldn't read it because the ink smudged.
Right. So you should really look for them. And another thing I always recommend, if you see a book, it says Topps Comics on it, it's worth reading. Doesn't matter what it is. Topps Comics had so much money at this point because they were riding that trading card buzz. They were hiring great creators. These are all comics based on Ray Bradbury stuff. Almost done with the original Ultimate X-Men run. Getting really, really close. Last couple issues I needed there. Final issue. I think this is technically Thor Volume 2, but they renumber it.
I was going to say with the Ultimate Fantastic Four, I only remember one thing about the entire series, and I have the entire run. I've read all of them. I can only remember the portion where, that Beast was into Storm, and Storm goes, well, I scratch my ass and pick my nose like everybody else. It's the only line I remember from the entire book.
Yep. A random old Action Comics. I don't even know why I grabbed it, to be honest with you. I don't know. And then it was $1. And then this is a Static book that a lot of people don't have. Another book that's a lower print run, 2009. Static and Black Lightning's meeting in Brave and the Bold, number 24. Now, look, if you collect Static, or if you're interested in Static or any of those Milestone characters, it's getting a little bit easier now, right? The buzz is down after the Milestone relaunch did not hit the way they were hoping it would. But Static is a character that'll be enduring. My kids don't know a lot about comics. They're adults. They don't know a lot about comics, but you know a character they know real well? Static. They know Static because the cartoon hit at a certain time when DC animation was really kicking off, and kids of that age, they all know Static, right?
They had an episode of Static that included the future with Batman and Static as an old man, and he was a hardcore player of the Justice League.
Yep. Couple issues of Emma Frost here that I needed with those horny Greg Horn covers. These aren't as horny because she's a young woman in them. She's not dressed in her normal Emma Frost costume. And then
she's not even Emma Frost as you know her today. She's just some young woman who is trying to learn who she is in the world, and she's not bitchy, she's not a diva, she's not snarky, she's just finding herself.
Mm-hmm.
I was not
And
ready for that, but it was
and
good.
and then I did all those weekly series from DC, and I noped out in Trinity. I did like the first 3 issues, and now since I've regretted it, I've been trying to go back and collect them. And so I found me a nice big run, and all these are just filthy bags and boards. I got to replace all of them. Nice big run of the weekly Trinity series here, right? Look at all that. Look at these. Look at these. And here's the thing: Trinity really apparently celebrates the Trinity, right? It really celebrates Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, their relationship, their position in DC at this time. This is all pre-Flashpoint, right? This, if you think about it, this is really kind of the last big hurrah for these characters before Flashpoint. And look, all the covers are white except there's 3: a Superman, Batman, and a Wonder Woman that are black right in a row. But I didn't get the Wonder Woman. But there's the crime syndicates in there. That Superwoman right there, right? Got a nice big. There's the final issue. Not as easy as you'd think to find, but I think it's because the people gave up on this as a weekly series. So you don't find them often as easily as you did some of the others. And then
Well, was it first Road to 52 that was 52 issues, then 52 that was 52 issues, and then they did Trinity?
It was 52, then Countdown. So they did
Wow.
52, then they did Countdown, I think, and then they did Trinity. And Countdown I actually enjoyed more than 52. 52 was the story didn't gel. And then from later in the original Ultimate Comics run, Ultimate Comics. Here's the Ultimate Comics X-Men. Excuse me, a couple of those bad boys right there. Right? And now I don't know if I showed you these. Rob, please correct me if I showed you these, and I will immediately stop. But I had picked up a couple naughty covers. Right? And I don't know if I'd shown them. It's an underground first. It's an underground first one. So tell me if I've shown you this. Motor City Comics #2.
I don't think so.
That's an R. Crumb cover right there. These are from Eros. These are Love Bites #1 and 2 with some sexy vampires. Check that out. Look at that poor fella right there. And this one, I don't know if I should show that one. We'll do that one quick. That one's Sex Files. That's an old. That's back in the day when they used to put manga in comics in the U.S. Before they actually imported manga. Atomic Age Truck Stop Waitress. Rob, did I show you this? I had to have showed you this.
I'm going to say no, because with each book that you're showing, we're gaining viewers.
And then, look at this. Motor City Comics #1. Check that out. These are not easy to come by. Those are not.
And you got this at your honey hole or online?
I
or
got them at my honey hole. That's
honey
right,
hole.
sir. That's right, sir. Speaking of the static, a couple more statics here. Look at that. 39, 32, 41, and number 40. And to get back into the weirdness real quick, and then I'll kick it over to you, sir. 2 more books. Where is it? Right here. First of all, I already have like 4 copies of this, but I buy this book every time I find it when I find it cheap, because it should never be a cheap book, and I always have a friend I can give it to. Superman Annual #11. Down she goes. This is an Alan Moore story. It showed up in the cartoons. It's one of the best Superman stories of all time. It is a real honey hole. You got that right, Jackson. And I highly recommend it if you've never read it. It's a top tier book to read. I lied. I had 3 more books. Again, Lobo, Highway to Hell #2. That's a Sam Keith. It's a prestige format book from DC, right? Not as easy to find. Again, tough one to get. And last 2, these are from, hold on a sec. I want to say Emerald Entertainment, right? They're pretty cool, though. Wait till you see them. You're going to be excited. This is actually from Eros Comics, which makes sense. I read this one. Wheela, Biker Bitch of the Apocalypse, right? Look at that. Look at that. And then, very similar style cover, Thor versus Beast Women from the Center of the Earth. Yeah, that's a good one right there. They were both great. I loved reading them. Highly recommend these. This one actually had a story from the guy who does Justine, which is a Western big booby lady character. He's an Italian writer, Enrico Todoriani or something like that.
I was
But
going to
this
say
was
Igmar Bergman.
the art. The art's actually great. I don't know how much I can show you, but hold on, I can show you something. The art's actually real good for a black and white, for an inexpensive black and white book. Here you go. Art's pretty decent. It's got Tim Tyler art in there. It's got Tim Vigil art in there. It's definitely a book worth picking up. And I got it for basically cover price. Yep. Oh, speaking of really great art, check that out. Look at that. This is the Thor versus the Beast Woman. That's beautiful black and white work. It's just fantastic. Again, I don't know. I've never seen these books. I think this one I believe the cover artist here at least did some work for Amroll, which Amroll was doing does Cave Woman. So
did you hear that there was a Thor book that was done entirely by Eric Powell that was just released? I don't know where I can find it. My comic shop didn't have it, but now I need to look it up because it's a little graphic novel that he spent a lot of time working on. I've got to find it.
Did not know about it. Now I'm interested. There was a book. I always used to recommend it to people. It was done by Moonstone. Unfortunately, it was written by a real piece of shit named Eric Esquivel. You remember Eric Esquivel, right, Rob?
He's the guy that had the Stolen Valor, right?
No. He's the writer on Border Town at the relaunch of Vertigo, and it came out that he got Me Too'd by a girl who was underage when she worked at a comic book store, and he pressured her into, relations. That
wouldn't surprise me because back in the day, DC had a rampant problem with editors and a giant boys club where anybody that was female that came into work, they were being harassed horrifically. Yeah. I mean, Bleeding Cool News had a ticker saying it's been this many days since DC has made a mistake, and it was always at 0.
Yeah. So Esquivel wrote this book for Moonstone called Thor, Unkillable Thunder Christ. And I loved it. It was a fantastic book. Loved it. Totally different take on Thor. And then he got outed as a predator. So if you can find it on the back issues, worth a read. Obviously, ain't nobody giving him no money. But
like anything else, is that other people worked on the book aside from the monster that person turned out to be.
Right, exactly. And that's all I got, man.
All right. Well, let's see some of the things I picked up. It's not a lot. There's no huge grails or anything. There's one big book, but a lot of people don't know what the hell it is. So let's change the camera over and see what I got this week from my LCS. And I'll throw a little banner up here just to let you all know where I get my comics from. Over on Instagram, the guy's name is Miami Fresh Comics. He does these claim sales usually really late at night on Saturdays, usually around 11 o'clock at night. Just have an alert on in case he goes live, because I get a lot of these really cheap or really close to fair market value, including this one here. And what is this? This is the first appearance of Barbed Wire. Yes, that was Pamela Anderson being put out through Comics Greatest World through Dark Horse. And I mean, Pamela Anderson, she's aging. She isn't going to return to a movie, but her sons. There was news just the other week that her sons just inked a deal where there's going to be a TV series of Barbed Wire. I have never read Barbed Wire in my life. I picked this up for $5 at my LCS just on the news that, hey, there's going to be something. So I should have picked this up way back in 1993 when this came out. I did not. So I got it now. I still haven't read it. Now, these next ones here are a storyline. I got the whole storyline for about $20 at the store. He had it on his claim sale, but this first issue right here is the first appearance of Savitar. And Savitar was one of the baddies of the week that stretched into a season on the CW Flash. So people that watch that, they'd know who he is. But if you're looking at this, you would not recognize the difference. But this is the part 1 of Dead Heat from Mark Waid that crosses over through Impulse. So I have Flash 108, goes on through 109, and there's Impulse right back there. Then it hops on over to Impulse number 10. And Impulse was a book that, I mean, you can find these for $1 in dollar bins or even 50-cent bins or quarter bins, because Impulse is a forgotten character. He first appeared in Flash number 92 in the second volume of Flash that started back in the 80s. His cameo was in issue 91, but he was in a lot of the Jeff Johns run and even all the way through when they rebooted everything with a new 52, and then everyone forgot who Bart Allen was. Still crossing back over to Flash number 110. Some Jesse Quick action. We're getting towards the conclusion of that storyline. I'm looking forward to reading this over the weekend if I get a chance, but I still have all these new comic book day books I haven't gotten to. And last week's and the week before that and the week before that. I have like 7 issues of Absolute Wonder Woman I still have to read. And all of Absolute Flash and all of Absolute Green Lantern. I finally did it. I finally got a first print of Concrete number 1, Paul Chadwick. I had the second print, and I got that for about $11-12 a few years ago. I got this for $3 at the shop. Yes, please. Now I want to work on the run because I have a lot of his earlier appearances in Dark Horse Presents. Now, this Daredevil is not one that's a key or anything, but I am a run collector, and this was one of the ones I was missing because it was coming out at a period of time when I was still a heavy drinker, and occasionally I would forget books and go, well, I'll get it back eventually, and that eventually just never happened until like a decade later. Here's Deadpool Annual number 2. Nothing special about this book with the exception of, oh yeah, it's a DNA David Nakayama cover. So pick that up, $5 book. Got myself a Spider-Girl 75. It's not like I'm trying to get the entire series because I wasn't on board with it as it came out, but people really, really loved this series. So much to the point that every time that they were about to cancel it, all the fans that were reading it, all that were under like 10,000 readers, they were very vocal about this book. So every time they tried canceling it, they uncanceled it. It just shows you that if you push back, if you're vocal, sometimes people will listen. This is how the CG people wind up getting people fired, like Jimmy Fallon. How do they do it? Well, they're not like they're a lot of people, but when you're the noisy motherfucker in the room, people just want you to stop talking and they will accede to your demands. And there's just a way how that runs, because if you push back and you push back, either one of two things happens. They'll back down or, yeah, something like that. Getting ready for the Halloween season, we have Chucky number 1. This is volume 2. Always a good idea to pick up those properties of old horror stuff, your animated stuff, anything that you grew up on. If you liked it, chances are other people did too. And if I ever have to sell these one day, at least I know that there might be somebody out there. And there's Miracleman that picks up everything nobody's heard of, and you'll get like 2 people that'll know what it is. And you know who one of those people will be? Hi, I'll take it. I like having no room. Now here's Iron Man number 22, and I think there's something key about it. I can't remember what it is, but I just got it because I have issues 1 through 21, 23 through 50. I was missing 22. Again, getting ready for Halloween. Here's issue 200. It's not an annual, but it's one of those seminal parts where if it's going this long, it hits issue 100, 200, 300. I try and pick those up. I still have a lot to go on. I was going to say Journey into Mystery. On House of Mystery, I still have a few Journey into Mystery 2s that I need. Here's Witching Hour number 7. We get another Neil Adams. I think this is Neil Adams' interior. I don't even know if this is cover. It might be his cover. Looks like his cover. But it might be Irv Novick too. And the last back issue I picked up, I don't know who's going to know what this is. I mean, I know that Gabriel Jimenez knows what that House of Mystery 200 is. Beauty of a cover. 300 or $3 for Concrete One. Wow. Yeah, that's what I thought too. I'm like, yes, I will get it. Terminal Velocity is Best Flash 2 storyline from Wade. I don't think I have that. I know I read it, but I also back in college used to give away. I didn't intend to give them away, but I'd let people, borrow it and they never gave it back. And yeah, it was Flash for like 12 issues. Bart Allen was, yes. Impulse is fun. And there's a mini with covers by Adam Hughes of Barbed Wire. Those are the ones to get. Yeah, there's volume 2, issues 1 through 8. It's the issue 7 and 8 that are going to be the big ones. Issue 7, it looks like she's making a quilt, but like naked and her legs are spread.
That's very.
I got to get that cover, but
That's
it's $40 online.
Oh my God, I bought them all like cover.
I bet. I'm going to look for them, but like not right now because I'm not going to pay $40 for something that most people were paying $5-10. It's Adam Hughes though, so that's why I got to get it. But this one here I picked up because Jared, our friend over at Water Tribe J on Twitter and on the BlueSky. And by the way, I'm going to throw this up here because they just installed this for us on here on StreamYard. So if you see this code right here in the upper left-hand corner, you hold your phone up to that and you can get to my BlueSky account, which I'll throw that back up on the screen. I do it at the beginning of every episode, but you can find me on BlueSky here. I do post pictures every day. There it is. Just a little bit of a delay. Not near mint, BlueSky Social. So this book here, the last one I'll show you, this is the first appearance of Aqualad. Who? Yeah, Aqualad was Garth or Tempest. He later joins the Teen Titans. And ever since then, he kind of disappeared because now we have a whole new version of Tempest. And he's a black character that is the son of David Hyde, the Black Manta. So today, Garth is almost all but forgotten. But it all started here in 1959 from December in Adventure Comics.
He was in at least the beginning of the current Titans run.
Was he?
Yep.
Wow, I can't believe I forgot that. But then again, the new Titans run right now is written by Layman, and I kind of dropped off of it altogether. Not on purpose, but I just have way too many titles. I'm not reading them all. It's not like I'm just collecting to collect. I do plan on reading them, but it's just so overwhelming with the amount of stuff that's coming in, week out. I canceled every single X-Men book that I was getting for this new Age of Revelation. I'm out. No, I'm not doing this because it seems like they just don't have a direction, and I just don't care to know what that direction might be. I know there's a lot of people that like some of those characters in there. Gail Simone, she's a great writer. She's a great human being. But the rest of the titles, it's like, hey, do you like what she's doing here? Here's 20 other titles that might tie into it or might not. It just depends on the writer's impact at the moment. No, I'm out. I kind of want to do the same thing to a lot of the back titles, but Dark Patterns is one of the best things coming out right now. And the Batman and Robin Year One, Mark Waid, has been really good. There's a lot of good stuff coming out, so I don't want to cancel everything, but at the same time, I'm running out of room here. So do you have any other books you wanted to show, or do you want to talk about the subject?
Let's talk about the subject. I got a couple of books to show there. Not many, but a couple.
I didn't pull like a ton of books here for this because I'm mostly talking about history here. So way back in 1947, you want to know how censorship sort of happens? Every now and then you might just be wanting to put out a story that you don't even think is controversial. But in 1947, some people wanted to put together a comic book, and that comic book was not as usual as what a lot of people were used to seeing way back in the day. So what I'm showing on the screen right now is All Negro Comics #1 that is all put together by black artists and writers in the 1940s. It only saw one issue because it was controversial. There was really not much controversial about the book itself. They just had on FOC a couple weeks ago. They're going to be releasing the trade paperback of this, which should be out in the next week or two. And it's going to be worth picking up because this is a very historical book, but it never saw issue 2. Issue 2 was put together. There was art, there was stories done for it, but because of the backlash that this received, that a lot of these racist places in America didn't want to carry it. They were threatening the writers, the artists, anybody that worked on it. So they just collectively went, nope, we don't want to be killed. We know what you crazy white people do. We've seen trees around here with people hanging from them. And in fact, just 2 weeks ago in Mississippi, that fucking happened. And there was zero reporting about it. But welcome to America. We're instead going to talk about we're bombing Venezuelan fishing boats for reasons. So this is just one of those things that came out, and not a lot of people know about it, but now that there's going to be a reprint, please do pick that up. Oh, hey, Gene Malo, good to see you. Good evening. So that's one of the books that I wanted to show. I don't have it because good luck finding it. Modern day lynching. I mean, it happened just a couple weeks ago in Mississippi. That is something you can look up. Now, also the Comics Code Authority, it started in 1954. Now, let's see if I can grab a couple of these here. So in 1954, that's when the Comic Code Authority really started in gear. It originated out of the fact that Seduction of the Innocent was written, and then Congress started holding hearings. But if you look at this book right here, it's called Battle. It's a Joe Maneely cover. And this thing here, you might notice that it says, Comic Code approved. And you're going to go, wait a second. The Comic Code didn't come into existence until 1954. How does the 1953 book have it? Way back in the day, if you wanted to be carried on a newsstand, you would need to make sure that that newsstand would carry it. So different places around the country, they'd go, hey, we need to get this vetted before we're going to put this out on stands because I don't want to get in trouble from some angry Karen. Yes, the Karens have been around for a long time. We just didn't start calling them that until much later on. So when it comes to the Comic Code Authority, beforehand, before it came into evolution, yes, we had all those horror titles. They were selling on some newsstands, but not all. But those newsstands were being very profitable. So some of those stands went, we don't care about the code. We don't care whether or not this is for children or for adults. We like making money, and these things are 10 cents a piece. It's not like they had a heavy margin. So, yeah, you had a lot of these newsstands, didn't give a crap about the children, but that's what happens from right-wing groups. There's a difference between astroturfing and grassroots. Grassroots is when it's people like you and me not getting funded by heavy groups, and we just decide to do something because we want to make it happen in existence. And then there's astroturfing, where it's corporations throwing massive amounts of money to make it look like it's grassroots, and it's not. Like the Heritage Foundation, Focus on the Family, right-wing organizations that are in control to control you and your thoughts, me and my thoughts. Fuck all that noise. They're useless fucking people that, I don't want to say it. We got to get rid of them, but we can't because our media is controlled largely by those same billionaires. The billionaires have always been the problem from the beginning of this country up until today. So when the Comics Code Authority got onto the scene, you saw EC Comics just go away entirely. Superheroes were out of fashion. Captain America Comics became Captain America Mystery Comics. It was a horror title. Who wants to read a Captain America horror title? It lasted 3 issues and it was totally canceled until they finally brought Captain America back. First in as a robot cyborg. It was a clone. It wasn't Captain America in a Strange Tales comic. Then finally in Avengers #4, and hey, here's Captain America back. But meanwhile, the 1950s, it was mostly for horror. And then Showcase 4, hey, here's Barry Allen as the Flash, and we're off to the races. We now have superheroes again. but it was under the guise of the comic code. And that comic code, they put it really large on covers because at this point, if you didn't want to get arrested for having contributing to the delinquency of a minor, those were heavy charges in the 50s and 60s. So much to the point that they released in the 70s Air Pirate comics, where that comic book got the writer and artist arrested and they went to trial. And this was before People versus Larry Flint that allowed for parody, but it showed that a comic book can make parody. And that gave us some more free speech. It was a pushback. We need pushback because if we don't have pushback, you get taken off the air. It happens. I mean, I keep throwing that banner up there, but one day it could happen. I'm a nobody again. Yeah, Worst. That's my last name. No one gives a shit about a Worst. People give a shit about a Kimmel. Enough people protest about it, they'll come back. There's 14 people watching us live right now as I'm saying this. Anything can happen. So,
hey, Jigs.
Oh, Jigs is here. Hey, buddy. I'd love to have you on the show one day soon. So another book I wanted to show here is Luke Cage, Hero for Hire. When you thought that the all Negro comics, 1947, maybe by like 1971, 72, America might have changed, it did not. First issue dropped, and you had a lot of comic stores in the South go, we're not going to carry no issue 2 with that colored feller on the cover. This was America 1972. And if you just watched Peacemaker, the latest episode, we just discovered that it was Earth X. And when you had ads just walking down the street, you have all these people looking at her like she has a third eye or a horn growing out of her head. And here's the brother at Peacemaker just shouting, there's a black. 2025, have we really changed that much? In 2050, are we going to change that much? We got to change hearts and minds, but we have to remember it's the billionaires that control most of this nonsense. But I don't want to take up all the time. I want to have Miracleman show some of the books he got. We'll wrap it up a little while.
Well, we can wrap it up pretty quickly because I only grabbed a couple of books to speak about censorship. One, you and I had talked, well, both of them we had talked about. One of them is it's a DC Comics presents. It's a reprint that came out in 2012. It's the Elseworlds 100-page spectacular. Now you go, well, you have it, right? Well, this book was supposed to come out 10 years earlier, Rob?
In 2001 was the original, and it won 2 Eisner Awards for the same story that got it banned and pulped.
Right. So there's a story in this book in which baby Superman is kind of doing some very cartoony things. Something you would expect to see in like an old school cartoon where the babysitter is chasing the baby around, but the baby is always getting into trouble. But it's Super Baby, so Super Baby can't actually get hurt. See, here's a scene where Super Baby's biting on the electrical cord, right? Well, the scene that got it pulped was this one where baby Superman crawls into the microwave and gets microwaved.
And yet somehow they made that a point of contention in the Flash movie by having the Flash sticking a baby into the microwave. Oh, we got Lady Fantastic. Hey, Lady.
Fantastic. She is fantastic.
Sorry, I'm late.
And
saying my brand.
Hey.
Hey.
So yeah, they pulled it, they pulped it, and it took 11 years until it came back out. Now this reprint, apparently there's like 200 copies of the original out there, right? This reprint, oh look at that, it's a Canadian, and this reprint came out. Apparently this one still is going for a premium. I bought it brand new. It was $8 when it was brand new back in the day. 100-page spectacular. Now,
I got my copy for $40 for the reprint in 2021 during the pandemic. It is now like an $8 to $10 book.
Yeah. Now, Action Comics 869. Now, this comic was pulled and pulped and reissued. I don't know if any originals got out, probably some at the very least. But here's a lovely scene. It's during the Jeff Johns, Gary Frank run, one of my favorite runs of Action Comics ever. You know, that Gary Frank art is just fantastic for Superman. This is a big run. Jeff Johns' run is
Oh,
just a
Dynasty.
huge monster run. Bizarro World, the Return of the Legion of Superheroes, Brainiac, and the death of Pa Kent. Right, Pa Kent dies in this.
For like the 18th or 19th time in all media combined.
Right now, this is a very normal
It's
scene.
short.
You see Ma and Lois, sitting there staring off at their men who are having themselves a drink of soda cola. And you see, it's very obviously says soda pop on their bottles, but that's not what it originally said. It was two adult men enjoying an adult beverage on the cover, and DC said, "Whoa, Nelly,
Too far.
too far."
You go too far, sir.
And they pulled it.
Brainiac's my soda pop, my little soda pop.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not
right.
going to sing the song.
Right. So they pulled it. They slapped a pretty, if you ask me, a pretty lazy Photoshop over top and put it back out. And so now they're drinking soda pop.
Bitches.
Yeah. 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 So now those are both examples of self-censorship. Both from DC, and one which DC undid it later and reprinted, put the book out a decade later. But yeah, that's what I got.
Other things that I even was writing out that Marvel has always tried to be a little bit better than the others when it comes to race relations in comics. They did put out the first black character as a superhero in comics with Black Panther, but they also did some other things too. Like way back in Marvel Presents, I think it was, there was a Marvel premiere. You had the Falcon, but he's flying over garbage and slums. And in the back of a subsequent comic, you had a guy write in and he was railing against how just really racist it was. And Marvel wound up saying, no, well, we don't really think that anything's wrong here. And they just laughed it off. And then they realized from that response that others wrote in about what this guy wrote. And they went, yeah, we got to fix something here. So they hired that guy that wrote in that letter. And who was that person they hired? James Owsley, the first black writer at Marvel. You might not know him as James Owsley III. You'll know him as Christopher Priest.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first black editor at Marvel. But we also had DC way back in the day. They just refused to let Batwoman get married to Maggie Sawyer. And that was a direct result of Dan DiDio saying, no, you can't do this. And as a result, writer and artist J.H. Williams III and W. Hayden Blackman, they all left and went, we're out. And then they hired Mark Andreyko, who was a gay creator, but the damage was done and nobody really wanted to read Batwoman anymore.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, Gabriel, that's issue 124.
Oh, yeah. He was trying to say one word and it came out with the Jewish slur that starts with a K. And it's mostly a result of the reason why you don't call anybody the name Clint in comics, because that L and the I sometimes looks like it's together and instead the word comes out as cunt. Yes, K-pop, Demon Hunters, Soda Pop.
Here are the books that I got that they just came in there for you. I think you have one of the three, but so I'll show it first. Okay.
Yeah. Let's take a quick pause on censorship and see some of the ladies' books that she just got.
These are not censored. Well, these for you. I just got to put rebag and board them, but you have this one, right? You don't? Okay.
I do not.
All right. Well, now you do.
Thank you.
I got that one. And then I got you
Very
Steel 29.
Ooh.
I definitely don't have that one.
Steely.
Yeah, and then the last one I thought was really cool. Sovereign 7? Chris Claremont wrote this.
I have 0 Sovereign 7.
This is Sovereign 7 number 1.
Yeah, Sovereign 7's a really weird run. It's in the DC universe, but is
So,
primarily completely independent, except for when Power Girl shows up and sticks around for multiple issues.
there you go.
And because Claremont wrote it, it's actually, it's a pretty fun story. It's just really
And
weird.
then I got this. I got something in the mail from Port de Moi. The Lois Lane 133.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The lady is a bomb. I was warned this disaster would happen because of me, but I didn't believe it. Century's most explosive tale. She knocked him dead.
That's a good one.
Yeah, check out this one. I found my
Cover.
first cover ever that has Julie Bell cover art.
Yeah.
And that is Julie Bell, like just basically drawing herself right there.
Now, I believe, hold on a second. I have those. And if I remember correctly,
What a steal. I see what you did there. I found this for like $1.25 at McKay's. I love this.
Oh, Gene Malo saying, Lady Fantastic, Canada Post is on strike, so no mail delivered to us. So hold off sending that book.
No worries.
That and he'd probably be forced to pay a tariff.
Oh, yeah, I got you. Got you.
Hey, Links.
There we go.
Got to rip in my nylons. Oh, okay. I don't wear my comics.
I once burned a girl's leg and ripped her nylons.
Give me a second. You can take it off me. I got to find.
I was super into her too, and I totally messed that up.
If you're going to start engaging in fire play, make sure she's aware of it.
I know. You should always have consent. So Lady F, that cover,
Yeah,
originally appeared on October 1996 copy of Topps Comics Lady Rawhide Volume 2. The one you have there is the reprint from the Image reprint of that run, retitled Other People's Blood from 1999.
Yep.
Beautiful cover. Exact same cover. Just has that black.
99, but this says Julie 96.
It does.
So that's why. Yeah. But I found this and I was like, a Julie Bell cover? I'm getting it.
You buy that.
I want to go to OAX this year. Rob and I talked. Well, it's next year, actually, technically. But OAX in Orlando, Julie Bell's going to be there, and her son, Dave Palumbo.
Last time I've been to a show where she was at was like 1996 from MegaCon.
I'm going to bring like this, and I have some Marvel Masterpieces.
I think she'll be impressed. And
got
oh
me
my
impressed.
God, that box that you sent us last night at like 1 a.m, where it was at $5,000 then for these Marvel Masterworks, it's at $9,000 and change now.
I saw the last time I looked at it was at 9300. You should bring it up and show these people.
Julie Bell, Boris Vallejo's wife.
Yes.
So true
And
story.
Dave Palumbo's mother, even though he's got a different baby daddy.
True story. I once was working at a store in which this was many years ago, 25 years ago, and I'm ringing the cash register, and this older couple comes up and has ink cartridges, and this was one of those printers that has not just the four, your black, cyan, magenta, and yellow, not your light magenta, light cyan. It also had red, green, right? It was like 16 cartridges. It was an Epson printer, if I remember correctly. That's insane. And I ring them all up, and the lady hands me the credit card, and I look at it, I swipe it, and I look at it, it goes, Julie Vallejo. And I look at her, and I go, Vallejo, Boris? And she points to the man standing next to her. And I was stunned into nerd silence, and all I could do was stick out my hand to shake it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I love Julie Bell.
Yeah, Julie Bell and Boris, both incredible artists. Very well known, but also vastly underappreciated for both
Yes.
their body of work, the beauty of it, and the uniqueness to it. I don't think most people understand how the two of them have influenced fantasy art, modern fantasy art, and
For the
artists.
last 50 years.
Right. It's not like it's just recent. It's like you can
Boris has for the last 50 years because
well,
he's
right,
like, you know,
120.
Julie like 25 years, 30 years.
Right. Their work is so
Well,
influential and so
35.
gorgeous. And it's honestly awful that we literally don't see it on the shelves every single month on multiple covers or in multiple books. I mean, it takes time. It's not quick work, but still, we should see their work all the time.
No, so Sitting Links, what this is 1996 Marvel Masterpieces. It is a 100 card set where all of the art was original art from Boris Vallejo and Julie Bell. So they're the only ones that did the images, and it's a beautiful set with beautiful pieces. Yeah.
So beautiful
and
it
that's
is now
why-
at $9,300. It was
So
$5,000
beautiful.
last month or last night.
Well, they're so hard to come by. They were like the last set. So after 1996, the next time Marvel Masterpieces were printed again was in 2007. So 11 years later. And I actually bought the first the first thing that came, 2 boxes of the first one that came back. And I got some Colleen Doran original art. But yeah, you guys just I was actually at Julie Bell's website today looking at her prints because you can buy 2 different sizes of her prints and they come signed by her and individually numbered. And I was like, damn, I could get a Julie Bell signature, could get it framed. I don't know. I was like, damn, that might be a good idea. I don't know.
First of all, I just want to let everybody know, fuck the Canadians. Not all the Canadians, just the Canadian. You know which Canadian.
Yeah, I know Canadians.
Son of a bitch.
He's a pedantic, pontificating, pretentious bastard, a belligerent old fart, a worthless, steaming pile of cow dung.
Accurate.
Canadians.
I love Canada. It's one of my favorite countries.
He also did Boris Vallejo like some Sega Genesis like covers.
Yeah, box art. Yeah. What was the one that used to ship with it? Altered Beasts. Did he do?
Yeah, Altered Beasts.
Yeah. Good times. I am falling asleep, so let's wrap this show.
No, fuck you. Look at our 2 cats. Oh, Miss Kitty.
Yeah, the last thing that I just wanted to leave the show on is the fact that, when it comes to censorship in comic books, this is not something that has just gone away. It's something that can happen anytime to anybody. And if we're not careful, anybody could be yanked off the broadcast at any time for any reason. And there's no recourse for it. You'll just be in the...
Thanks for tuning in. If you want to see this episode again, along with a catalog of back episodes and issues, surf on over to Not Near Mint on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe and hit that bell for notifications.